Well, this is going to be my last video. I'm going to put some more information about Helios, and you can use the formula I gave you to figure out what they're really trying to say in the comments of the Helios videos or the description. If not, you can look it up on Wikipedia and check their sources if you care to verify, but you can tell by the way they describe things, and they're pretty much accurate. Okay. Remember, the dragon, drain, and draw in or draw on. Human trafficking, right? Human raw fucking, try fucking, and also porno. Okay, backwards, on rope, on rape, goes back to the cattle of Ra, and also of Helios and the Hyperion, etc., Lampetia, and so on. And On is the cult center of Ra, where Heliopolis almost certainly is a Greek name, right? Helios, and it refers to a different idea that is hijacking and being superimposing, right? Being imposing, superimposing itself on the truth. Okay, it goes back to the zodiac and the sun and witchcraft, where the sun is said to move through the zodiac signs, and you have Mars, the planet in Aries, the zodiac sign, as well as you have Venus and Taurus the bull, and that shows you that the bull, guys who take on that perspective are more concerned with fertility, and just like the bull is a symbol of eating the grass and so on, and being low to the ground and heavy and worldly and big and so on and so forth. Okay, so dragon style, Bruce Lee and satanic liberation. Jeet Kune Do. He had a gung fu school in Oakland in 1964, going back to the Kun, who the Kuns really are and why. Certainly, one might assume that he's showing honor and a degree of proficiency by setting up shop there, which likely would inspire Africans to figure things out, especially when you consider the way he describes things. Certainly, the dragon is also a symbol of the black prison gang known as the BGF, Black Guerrilla Family. Certainly, they were they were a response to martial arts tactics and the Black Panther Party, and said to be attached to them. And there's a long story there about how a member of the BGF is said to have killed Huey Newton, the Black Panther defense minister. So we look at the freedom of expression and liberation that he refers to from martial arts systems. Okay, rather. JKD, right? Jeet Kune Do is said to be the way of the intercepting fist. Okay, you think about this in terms of surgical strikes. He's touching on it from his perspective, his body structure, instruction, structure, tailored, figure it out, mind, body, and soul, and so on. You'd be out of your mind to miss my argument as a martial artist. That's why you don't see them even attempting to respond to it, which is a form of conceding my point. And obviously, anyone who's heard my argument knows I've been doing martial arts as a champion already, for over 20 years. So it's stupid to think that you can hide from a brain surgeon's son's martial arts challenge when he has 4,000 videos on the internet and make any kind of semblance of an argument when you consider how I've overkilled my point that I'm the top martial artist. It is. I'm more sure that I'm the top martial artist that I exist. I go as far as to say that. Okay. You might take a lot of thinking and say, well, what if, don't you need to? Yeah. A lot of you aren't smart enough to see the deeper meaning in that statement. Okay. Page 16, Wing Chun, trapping, not needed because of speed and power. He closes all three of his Jun Fan Gung Fu schools because he was concerned that people would take the agenda as the truth and the schedule as the way, the life. And it goes back to Christianity. The guy who wrote this book, incidentally, was a Christian. So Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And he closes it down because he doesn't want people to understand that, he doesn't want people to think that it's the way, the truth, or the life, really. And of course, on page 19, Lee emphasizes sparring over forms and describes forms as swimming on dry land, and to actually swim in water meant sparring. And of course, this also has implications in terms of having sex, and I've described the different martial arts systems as different lifestyles, which include the accompanying sexual activities, right? UFC fighters aren't going to make love. They're brute force ruffians, kind of in this slut kind of culture, right? Where you have the females dressed like, dressed and scantily clad, and so on and so forth. It's the whole horror culture that goes with it, right? There's no love. It's void of love. People who are interested in love don't take that route, okay? Neither do they take traditional martial arts as such. Okay, these things are people bowing down to other men in the absence of the true Spirit of God. Who does that? Obviously, someone who's not trying to live love. Okay, so we look at the war on terror, right? Tear or raw right, right? When we turn it around and we add the two translations. Okay, sparring with raw spirit, okay, to help cultivate lovemaking when applied to intercourse, right, which goes back to intercourse, which goes back to instruction, and body structure, which goes back to worship, and the worship, right, worship, right, okay, and so on. There's other, shop and so on and so forth. Okay, so Western boxing and fencing, okay, for worldly Jeet Kune Do, right, this is partially based on Western boxing and fencing, okay, and it goes back to footwork, which is also a play on words for fat work or fit work, how fit you are, your structure, and so on, right? So if you look at Bruce Lee's footwork carefully, and you think about how that differs from someone who's been playing basketball while doing martial arts for many years, with a typical kind of tall, black, athletic body build, you can tell that, I'm quicker on my feet than he is. You'd be a dumbass to think that with my distance, right? Distance is also part of Jeet Kune Do. With my speed, my superior intelligence, my superior honor, my superior focus and cultivation of righteous indignation, and brain surgeon, Gen X, right? Two surgeons as a parents, you'd be out of your mind to think that he could beat me in combat. And certainly you see me coming at you with a superior philosophy and a more honorable perspective, and on and on. And also, when you consider my reach, I am faster than him. So I'm faster, smarter, and I'm faster on my feet. How's he going to cut the distance? He can't. I'm going to win. In ancient combat, he's dead. Okay. Moving on. To cling to one way is what he calls partiality, right? Which I would compare to, you have to compare it to these three things, right? He calls that partiality. He went for totality, using any method, where I go for sacred morality, more reality, which is the true totality, which includes the Spirit of God, the true totality of the Spirit through sacred morality, versus the totality of systems that have rejected Ra. Okay. He talks about that people should train tools, the body parts that are used for fighting. Of course, this goes back to transferable skills. And of course, he himself decided to use weapons to help him deal with the distance. When you follow that train of thought to its finish, you see the weapons that are more appropriate for him. His hand, right? Add the hand, right? And the gloves, admit the truth. Okay, we're falling behind. Let's shoot through this. So fencing without a foil, okay, is how they describe Jeet Kune Do. And this goes back to feel, fall, fail, fool, file, lay of, wordplay applied backwards, lie of, faux L, and so on. Act in response to reality and not traditional preconceived notions of what a fight should be like. Simple and direct. Non-telegraphic movement, non-classical, strong side forward, hand before foot, center line, no passive moves, longest weapon to the nearest target, adaptability, broken rhythm, water in the hose, whip, short arc principle, non-intention, simultaneous parry and hit, and I guess it's hammer. So all these things are explored in the book. The book was only $10 that I got. I would show you it. It's in the other room. I don't want to start over just for that. Moving on. So he taught in Los Angeles, Chinatown, and Oakland, right? And it's called the Oakland era and the Chinatown era, right? Simultaneous schools at the same time. Okay. So moving on. Functional JKD seeks to inject Greco-Roman wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and Thai boxing, kickboxing, Western objects. So obviously you have these white guys trying to inject their kind of MMA mix with wrestling and jiu-jitsu and so on. It doesn't take a genius to see that Bruce Lee was mostly strikes. Yeah, he dealt in grappling, but he didn't take grappling very seriously because, if you have to defend yourself, you're not going to go that route. You're going to strike them effectively and get it over with. Grappling is like an in case shit happens scenario. It's like training for, a hurricane, for in a gunfight and saying, well, you didn't train for that hurricane. Who fucking cares? Okay, footwork, plays an important role. And of course, imagine somebody trying to take me down when my footwork is superior and I'm faster than they are, right? It's a hurricane scenario. It's nonsense. Take it from the Temple of Set to expect someone to master in case a hurricane hits scenario. All right. Rhythm and trance versus Hawk's submission to Ra. JKD rejects the formality of the art. Lee, 1997, page 47. Page 170 of this book. 5 ways of attack, defenses, counterattacks, distance, timing, and rhythm developed and grown through sparring. So he's putting that emphasis on sparring. Energy and timing are said to come to the forefront. Okay. Notice distance is one of the key things, so is timing. Okay. Cultivation of fight mindset and a proper attitude. Sparring as the mirror that allows one to see his strengths and flaws. Okay, this is part of Jeet Kune Do's system. If you have been misled or worse, yet have deceived yourself about your abilities, sparring will reveal the truth. It goes back to Egyptian stick fighting, fan a naza wa tatib, the art of being straight and honest through the use of the sticks, which also goes back to sparring. Okay, this is something the Egyptians and Bruce Lee and me and my top martial arts challenge and countless martial arts studios by actions agree on. Sparring is how you determine who's the top. And if you do not concede my point, automatically you're in a state of dishonor. Okay, either you're silent, which is the less honorable stance, or you have the heart to come forward and say he's right and it was wrong for us to deny him his rightful place. It is wrong for us to teach our women not to date him, even if it risks their lives. This is such an honorable man that I would have my, if I was a woman's father, I would rather have my daughter be raped and murdered every day of her life than to shun this person, brought back to life. Okay, to get it through your head. A lot of you, just like when I said at the beginning, you don't understand the deeper meanings when I say things like that. It is to overkill my point, to get it through your fucking head. It can be no other way. Okay. So 168, lead hand versus lead foot, to learn, to close the distance, cut the distance, spirit versus shoot. Okay, so it goes back to the form of sparring. Okay, when people say, oh, it's not fair to the short guy, they actually teach people in Jeet Kune Do different ways to get them to train the ability to cut the distance. It is not an excuse. The small guy is a shorter target. I'm not going to waste my time explaining why it is fair to every man of every height and how I'm there's people over a foot taller than me. I'm not going to waste my time with that argument. Okay, it's stupid, right? Anyone who understands sparring knows that that is a weak excuse. When you go into war in ancient combat, you don't say, hey, it's not fair. I can't prove my spirit is superior because I'm small. Even in the Bible, you have David and Goliath. I'm not going to waste my time. We're running out of time here. I have two more pages to go through. Fuck. All right. So difficulty: kilt I, kill Y, cult E, C all L E. Go ahead and do the day foe, die foe. Break it down the word like I just did. All right. Footwork, speed, mind, purpose. Striking thoughts. Okay, is the name of this other book. Okay. I'll put the name of the book for the first part of this video. I'll put the name of that book that I'm using and referring to in the comments in the description. All right. Independent inquiry is needed in your search for truth, not dependence on anyone else's view or a mere book. Okay, that's his opinion. Here's my response to it. If this inquiry does not lead to the top martial artist with no ill-gotten gains should be in charge, then you must be under mind control like all the attractive women that have turned their backs on him. Okay, so now that kills his idea of don't depend on anyone else's view. Don't depend on yourself. Look at these people. They're mind control bitches. They don't have the heart to stand with me or be uncontrolled. The fuck is liberating themselves going to do anything? They need that direction. They're lemming pussies. Come on. Yes, I destroyed his argument there. I could go quote for quote with him and destroy him. The meaning in life. All in all, the goal of my planning and doing is to find the true meaning in life. True meaning in life. Peace of mind. That's what he's saying. The true meaning of life is absolute garbage. It goes back to Star Wars, what the Emperor said. Now, once more, the Sith will rule the galaxy and we'll have peace. Anyway, in order to achieve this peace of mind, the teaching of detachment of Taoism and Zen proved to be valuable. My response: the true meaning of life is a spiritual connection with Ra. In order to establish this connection, one must seek to restore the divine martial arts order with an emphasis on sparring and reproduction. Okay, that does not lead to peace of mind. That is struggle. Life is a struggle, not separating yourself from the problems and letting your fellow man suffer. You have to give him every chance you can to give him the divine order. And if there is no more divine order, you must die. Life, masculinity, femininity, thinking of death keeping cowards from action, a beta-controlled world. Okay, you know what? I can go ahead and throw this out. We'll just leave it there. Okay, in case you haven't noticed, I crushed his arguments. These aren't just random quotes. These are key quotes. He's saying what the true meaning of life is. Peace of mind? What are you, a bitch? What are you, a slut, saying, look, I'm going to divorce you because you're doing the right thing, and I don't want these problems in my life. You're too much drama. What are you, a bitch? Come on. Yes, I crushed his arguments. If you're paying any fucking attention. I'm sick of these shallow-ass pussies that don't get it. That's what America is.